Welcome to Let's Talk About It podcast, brought to you by Laaha. An online platform where adolescent girls and women can access information about their health, safety, and well-being. Our content is based on scientific knowledge for educational purposes only. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional advice or treatment.
My name is Miriam, and today we're going to talk about something many parents find difficult: how to talk to your adolescent about sex. As parents, our most important job is to keep our children safe. So you might wonder what talking to an adolescent about sex has to do with safety. A lot, actually. When children have accurate information, they are better able to make healthy, safe decisions about their bodies and about sex when the time comes. Before we talk about what to say, let's talk about something many parents feel but rarely say out loud: fear. If the idea of talking about sex with your child makes you uncomfortable, you're not alone. In many cultures, sex is an awkward topic, sometimes even taboo, especially for women. When children are young, they may ask about sex in an indirect way, like, "How did I get in your belly?" But as they get older and go through puberty, hormones bring new thoughts, feelings, and sensations, and their curiosity about sex may change. As parents, we're suddenly faced with the reality that one day, our older kids may be ready to have sex. That can bring fear, embarrassment, and worry for us. One common concern is this: if I talk about sex, won't I encourage my child to have it? Research shows the opposite. Adolescents whose parents talk openly with them about sex are more likely to wait and more likely to protect themselves when they do become sexually active. Silence doesn't keep children safe. Information does. Another concern is, it's not my role. In some cultures, girls marry young and are expected to have sex once married. Parents may feel it's inappropriate or even unsafe to talk about sex, so they do not scare their child. But that fear of scaring our daughter is usually more about our own fear. Girls who have accurate information are safer and healthier, even within marriage. They know what to expect and when something doesn't feel right. If it isn't safe in your culture for you to have these conversations, connecting your adolescent to a trusted service provider or organization can be a lifeline. Now let's talk about how to approach these conversations. This does not need to be one big talk. In fact, it works much better as a series of short conversations over time. You might start with puberty. Later, explain the basics of sex. And when the time is right, talk about safety. Here's simple language you can use. You might say, "In a marriage or loving relationship, there is something called sex. Sex is something two people may choose to do to feel close to each other, and it's also how a baby is made." You can explain that girls and women have eggs, boys and men have sperm, and when sperm reaches an egg, pregnancy can happen. And one thing matters more than anything else: both people must want to have sex. This is called consent, and it's very important. When you're ready to talk about safety, you can say, "Remember when we talked about what sex is? I'd like us to talk about how to stay safe and healthy." This is where pregnancy and protection come in. There are ways to prevent pregnancy, like condoms and birth control. You don't need to explain everything at once. What matters is letting your adolescent know options exist and that you can talk about them together or with a doctor when the time comes. It's also important to talk about sexually transmitted infections known as STIs. STIs can pass from one person to another during sex. Some show symptoms and others don't. That's why protection matters. Condoms are the best way to protect against STIs. Birth control pills and injections prevent pregnancy, but they do not protect against infections. Testing is also part of staying safe. Remember, getting an STI does not mean someone is bad or dirty. Many STIs can be treated or managed. Finally, how you end the conversation matters. Let your adolescent know they can always come to you with questions or worries, and that you will listen without judgment. This is especially important for girls, who are often taught to feel shame about their bodies and sexuality. The way you speak with your adolescent will signal to them that you are a safe person. If this feels hard, that's because it is. But the fact that you're thinking about it means you're doing important work. For more support and resources, visit our Parenting Corner. You're not alone, and this conversation matters.
If you have more questions or would like to talk to someone, you can visit laaha.org to connect with a service provider through the Find Services button, or explore more topics using the search function.